I want to bring in Omar Shakir, a director at Human Rights Watch, for more on this. Omar, I know you were listening to that press conference along with us from those families describing their loved ones being taken. What's your reaction to the hostage situation right now?
Look, it's really horrific to see civilians, women, children having to face this sort of circumstance. Your heart goes out to the families. Let's be crystal clear. As a matter of international humanitarian law, hostage taking is a war crime. They should be returned to their family. It is absolutely grotesque. The threat that Hamas's armed wing, Al-Qassam, issued to execute hostages, that would be a flagrant violation of international law. There is no justification for that.
And we're also looking at live images of Gaza right now. There's smoke filling the air. What are you hearing about conditions there right now?
It's hard to underscore how dire the situation is in Gaza right now. You have, families that are living under constant bombardment, their entire areas that are under rubble. You have a situation where families barely have any electricity, at most maybe an hour, a couple hours a day. You have a situation where infrastructure has been significantly damaged, so many families do not have clean water. You have the Israeli government saying they will not be allowing in any food, any fuel, any electricity. You have bombings of the crossings with Egypt, meaning that aid coming from Egypt is not coming in. You have people living, in many cases, without internet even, so they're not able to charge their phones or connect with their world. Let's be, again, crystal clear. Starvation as a weapon of war, withholding fuel, withholding electricity, these are war crimes. And the fact that Israel's defense minister has said that they're doing this as part of a deliberate policy is evidence of a criminal intent, one that should be looked at by the International Criminal Court. The situation in Gaza, it's not just the last 3 days. It's been 16 years of the people of Gaza living under a generalized closure. The UN said in 2020 that Gaza would be unlivable, and now we've seen a deterioration to depths that are unfathomable, and simply are not imaginable how families are living in this current reality.
Omar, some humanitarian groups are now scrambling to try to get aid to the civilians caught in this war. And according to the Associated Press, Doctors Without Borders, which is still operating in Gaza, currently has no way to get new supplies. What needs to happen in order to get help to the wounded and to the civilians in Gaza?
We absolutely need humanitarian aid to enter. And the fact that it's being blocked coming through Egypt, the fact that the Israeli government has closed its crossings, that needs to end. I mean, we can all agree that, civilians need to receive humanitarian aid. We also need to see food, aid enter, medical supplies. Hospitals right now have no capacity. They're facing a situation where there's no space, there's no medication. We've seen ambulances and hospitals struck by Israeli authorities. There appears to be no restraint to this bombardment campaign. Human Rights Watch has over the years documented how Israeli authorities have committed war crimes, deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure, deliberately targeting civilians, or hitting indiscriminate, disproportionate attacks that wipe out families, destroy high-rise buildings. We're seeing hospitals hit. We need to ensure that civilians are protected in this situation. There are rules that the international community created, international humanitarian law, to guide these situations. What we're seeing today by Palestinian armed groups, by the Israeli government, is a flagrant disregard for these rules, and civilians are paying the price.
And on that note, Hamas is now threatening to execute one hostage on video for every airstrike that hits Gazans in their homes. What's your reaction to that?
It's grotesque. Doing so would clearly be a flagrant violation of international law. Hostage taking itself is a violation of international humanitarian law. That is a crime that the International Criminal Court could and should prosecute should it take place. It's good to see Hamas's political wing walking that back. Those hostages should be returned to their family. So long as they're detained, which is unlawful, there are obligations to treat them humanely. They should not be the subject of mistreatment and torture, but quite simply, these are serious, serious violations of international law that have no justification.
All right, Director at Human Rights Watch, Omar Shakir. Omar, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.